Thank you, Harry. It's my privilege now to introduce Dafydd Rees to you, who is the Head of Engineering and Technical Solutions here at NEP. And I think all of us who've had the privilege of looking at MCR21 and then having a look at this truck can just wowed. And I know some of us who worked sort of in the middle of that time period are still wowed by these TARDISes, or TARDI, if that's the plural, of how you go into them. So, Daf, in the time we've got, which is plenty, but if you could just choose what you want to tell us about them.
Certainly.
Thank you.
Certainly. Thank you very much for inviting me. It's a real pleasure to see MCR21 here, and a real pleasure to see so many of you people here as well. So thank you for coming. A couple of notices before we begin. It's great to see so many old friends. I did want to mention just one person that's here, and that's a friend of mine, Dennis Butcher. Dennis, we've worked together many times over the years. You as engineering manager, me as a vision guarantee. And I was going to mention this because Dennis, I'd like to have put on record, makes the finest marmalade this side of Staines. And I was genuinely going to mention this earlier, but the joke was going to be, but he didn't bring me a jar of marmalade tonight. But he did. But he did. So, thank you, Dennis, for this glorious jar of marmalade. I should also say, I feel a bit fraudulent standing up here tonight in front of these marvellous NEP lorries, because the person who actually put all the effort into building these lorries, Rob, is at the back there somewhere. So I'm feeling as if, you know, where is he? There. So all kudos and credit to you, Rob. Feel free to heckle as we go. So the task was really to think about the differences between MCR21 and Venus and the way that things have progressed from one to the other. And I thought, well, gosh, this is going to be a fairly easy conversation to have, with plenty of differences between the two units. And I thought we could talk for hours about the differences and how things have changed and all that sort of stuff. So I thought perhaps the easier thing for me to do is to go on the MCR21 website, find the specifications for MCR21 and compare the two. And that'll be super easy. We'll be done in a few hours. So I went and had a look at the handbook for MCR21, thought that would be a good place to start. It's on the website. It's a great website to have a look at. So I started by looking at the handbook, and the first paragraph of that handbook, in the introduction, it says, and this is where I have to flip-flop with my glasses. It says, the MCR contains all the equipment required to originate a television program and can accommodate all the production and engineering staff necessary for that purpose. Cameras, cables, de-rigging equipment, etc. are normally transported by a separate vehicle. And then I thought about Venus and thought, Venus contains all the equipment required to originate a television program and can accommodate all the production and engineering staff necessary for the purpose. Cameras, cables, in a separate vehicle. So I thought, well, crikey, they might be similar after all. There might not be such a big difference. And although, of course, thinking that Venus is a state-of-the-art powerhouse of a production system, thinking, well, it can operate in all sorts of frame rates, all sorts of resolutions, I went back to that handbook and I read on. It said, the video equipment in MCR is designed to operate on 405 line 50 field, 5 to 5 line 60 field, or 65 50 field. So I thought, again, well, actually, MCR21 is itself a multi-format, multi-resolution OB unit. There's another similarity. This is getting trickier. What about flexibility, I thought? I read on. The equipment in the MCR is designed for easy removal and transport by hand to be set up in the de-rigged condition in almost any location. A set of external racks, cables and connecting boxes is supplied with MCR type 4013. The de-rig control room layout is designed to resemble the layout of the MCR interior. Well, although we don't take the stuff out to Venus, we do have a mirroring set of equipment that we put in external racks with cables and connecting boxes, and de-rig this whole system to fly packs all over the world. And again, the control room layout is designed to resemble the layout of an MCR interior. Okay, well that's another similarity. That idea has been around since MCR 21 existed. So, I thought, how can we now start to differentiate in the concepts between MCR 21 and Venus? I thought, I've got it. I thought, what about resilience and redundancy in the event of a mains failure or similar emergency? I read on. Batteries are included so that lighting and sound equipment can be operated in the event of a mains failure or similar emergency. So, I thought things are not looking good for my talk on the differences between MCR 21 and Venus. So the concepts, I suppose, are very, very similar. They're both designed as units to create a television program and to be a home for the production facility away from the production center. But of course, we've experienced and sometimes endured many, many technical revolutions since 1963, from 405 line to color, to high dynamic range, to UHD, to 8K, from copper cables to fiber optic, from mono audio to 7.1.4 object-orientated soundscapes, and of course from analog through various flavors of digital transmission to video and audio over IP, which is the core of Venus, and clearly the technology that's moved on so much since the days of MCR.